Hello everyone, I am Paul with many voices, and with this voice, Prison Architect, the Swansong Slammer Season 2 is back on the channel. Welcome back. So if you've watched the last video, you'll understand why, for some reason, this game is still relevant, as it really shouldn't be, but oh well. And I only now noticed that these doors are wrong, and those doors are right, but these doors are wrong as well. Let me fix that really quick. The final prison in the game that I will build, better yet, that I will have rebuilt, and that I have rebuilt again. The things I do for you guys. Anyway, yes, this is a complete rebuild from scratch. Not once, but twice. Of the original prison, as well as all of the expansions done thus far. And I'm gonna go over all of the changes, because there are quite a few. And another thing that I just realized, I never put barbed wire on that. So let's fix that really quick. And that's perfectly fine, because it gives me some time to talk about the changes, because there are quite a few. In the last episode, which was episode 50 proper, at the end I did ask, like, how should I continue with this build, because it was going excruciatingly slow. I was constantly struggling with money, prisoners were acting up, daily cash flow was bad, etc, etc, etc. And the majority of you did say, like, cheating money is perfectly fine, because, you know, we understand what you want. Get it done. And so, at the start of this, at this rebuild, I gave myself 25 million by editing the save file. I first finished the offices for the warden and the accountant, and then I kid you not, 100 workmen. And yes, all of them, or almost all of them, are fully trained with first aid and fire and rat trap and gold. So, perfectly fine. Let's not do that just yet. However, there are a few changes that I did in terms of construction. And we're gonna start with minimum security right here. And of course, what I show on the south end also applies to the north end. The canteen and the common room, as well as the office in the common room, have now switched places. Purely for the fact that originally the hallway that is meant for the staff and the visitors of this place did extend all the way through the kitchen here, because this kitchen was a lot smaller, all the way to the back over here. But when I expanded the kitchen, that area was blocked off, and so the people from outside that would deal with the program inside of the common room would have to go through the canteen into this little outside section here in order to get into the common room, and I didn't want that. So during the reconstruction, I decided to switch that around. The canteen is a little smaller, and the common room is now a little bigger. With that, I realized I had some spare room, and that was fairly useless. So I decided to extend the staff room here, of course, also on the north side, and give them a few extra items. But you can also see that I've added white tiles over here, because every staff room now also has a staff canteen. So over here, but also over here. And depending where the toilets are, that's where the staff room, staff canteen is going to be split. And you may see a whole bunch of rat traps. Every single room should now have rat traps and sonic rat deterrents, because rats will be a definite issue in this prison, and I'm going to expand on that. So, yeah. Next, you may see all of these light solars and also a lot more lightning rods. The entire outside of stuff that has been built and the outside path for the entire facility is now outfitted with lightning rods and solar lights to make this place look nice in the night as well. And yeah, now that I will already spoil, I have bought the south end, so it extends all the way down to the south, and I have already put in the street lamps instead of the regular lights. Which brings me on to the next part. I'm finally using the grass bridges. And I am kind of regretting it. They look nice, but for this, they don't. So, I did remove the bridges over here, because, well, they no longer serve me a purpose. Because I wanted to use this. But as you can see, it takes up a 3 wide space here. And it doesn't really connect well with the wall and such, so I had to sort it out like this. This is just a regular hedge wall, but I'm kinda not here for that, so I might ultimately decide to change that and decide to sadly not use this grass road bridge at all. As for medium security, that is pretty much the only major change. Especially since it is work lockup time, because there are 2 power switches here. And every workshop, as I also have one in protective custody and in medium security, I'm gonna show this to you right here. The power cables run through the power switches, and these power switches are therefore hooked up to the machines. But they are actually automated, because apparently I'm not old enough yet to learn something new about this game, and credit to Mr. Charlie Pryor, who showed me this in his current active series on YouTube. You can hook up a door timer to these switches, and thus possibly, but I haven't tested this, and I'm kind of not gonna test it. To these switches, and then set work free time, work lockup to be open and the rest closed, which means that the power will be turned off during every time except your scheduled work free time and work lockup. Which means that because the machines are turned off, they don't consume power, and thus a little more in power exports. But beyond that, I don't think I really changed anything in minimum security. Armory still exists over there. The security room still has some weird stuff. I did add a whole bunch of drink fountains here and there, as you can, well, not see here, but there's one here. Staff was complaining in the original series about hydration, so I was like, yeah, might as well just throw them in. But, yeah, that. And I do think that is all of the changes of minimum security, except the wall lights, but I've thrown them in all of the sectors so far, so that the inside of the facility, and not just the outside of the facility, will be well lit at night. And I am thinking about changing up these two, because deliveries for mail and workshop related stuff is up here, and then garbage and exports is down here, so I might change that up later. Now we look at death row. 3 major changes. First of all, a power switch, once again, connecting to the electrical chair. However, since I do my executions only at night during sleep time, that is when the door timer, that I'll show you in just a second, will activate this switch and give power to the electrical chair, and otherwise it won't work. And the other change that you can see is I wanted my guests to be comfortable, so I gave them these comfortable leather chairs. And lastly, rather than just white tiles, I decided the paroles, the reception would be um, marble tiles. It is just a test to see like will this look better or not, but so far, it's okay. Perimeter wall around everything, barbed wire on the perimeter wall, because, except here, 4 barbed wire is required. As we're now heading into the protective custody, that has seen a major change. Also, here's the effect of work free time not being the active slot, and thus the power switch is turned off. So the power to the machines is turned off, same as over here. I have increased the size of the dormitories. There are still only 16 of them, but I can now have a bit more capacity. As you can see, up to 44. So I also added a bit more capacity to the canteen. The yard looks a little different because for some reason I couldn't figure out why in the original build the water boiler here and here were enough to get the heating through here. I don't remember why it worked in the first place and now it doesn't work anymore. But I added another water boiler in here just because. Also the grid bins, just because. But the major change is that the path on the outside is now a single one-way or one-tile walk. And I'm actually going to change this up to concrete with leaves instead of sandstone. Why? Because I was thinking about it earlier and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So that. These 3 beds were originally just like this, a bunk bed and a regular bed. But when I had that here as well as here, it gave me a 47 capacity with 3 to be unassigned. And I couldn't figure out why, but the only solution was to do it like this. And if I were to remove one bed, the capacity would drop down to 43 and 42. So this is just how it's gonna have to be. The art may look a little different, but oh well. Beyond that, everything is still the same. I have looked into a online calculator for Prison Architect where you can see how many laundry machines, baskets, and ironing boards you require for X amount of prisoners. So that's why this only has 2 ironing boards, and as you can see, this area is now very barren, with 1 machine, 2 ironing boards, 2 tables, and nothing else. But it does have a rat trap. I don't think it has a sonic rat turret. Might add that later. Restaurant isn't an active restaurant. The bakery isn't an active bakery, because I don't have any prisoners. But criminal or protective custody is actually the reason why I decided with a second rebuild. Because in the original rebuild, I messed up something terribly. There was no door here. I had my protective custody guys die of starvation. Just like I had with my criminally insane in the original series. And I couldn't figure out why. Until eventually I decided to follow one of these inmates in here. And he was carried over outside, back inside, and to his cell. And that's when I saw, why isn't he taking the direct route to the fact that there is no door there? Something that could have been easily avoided, and with that, I decided I might as well just rebuild this again and take 25 million properly this time. Beyond that, I don't think anything has changed. There's still all of the solar wind hybrids here and there, and the 2 wind turbines, just like down there. The top half powers the top half here, as well as all of Criminally Insane, and ultimately, as you can see, I've already planned out at least the cells and a couple of rooms. Max Super Max Security will be powered by the bottom half here. Anything else that has changed? Not really. In terms of room quality, everything is a 5 out of 5. Or 5 out of 10. They don't have a gym, they don't have a classroom, because they don't really deserve that. Well, technically they do, because, you know, these ex-gang members, they show that they want to reform, and they technically should be rewarded by having access to these reform programs and these classrooms. But as you can see, I'm running a little low on room. So while I could easily like cut down on capacity by making a classroom here, and then like what could I do there? A gym here. I'm just not gonna. I'm simply just not gonna. Criminally Insane is pretty much the exact same as before, except it too has a couple of extra boilers, 1, 2, 3, and 4, because I am heating the entire exterior as well. And as you can see, I've already put in all of the wall lights. That took quite a lot of time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gave me a headache. And just imagine, I did it twice. Off screen. But, yeah. The only major change is the fact that I replaced the ever so ugly colored stone tiles in the psychiatrist's office with a combination of blue carpet, brown carpet, and red carpet. Because that looks a little nicer. And I do realize that this area does not have a wall light. So let me quickly get one here, one there, one there, and one there. Also, I have changed this, actually, the movesets can be dismantled. I don't need them there. The movesets have been replaced, or the walls here, originally also wall white, have now been replaced with barred walls. Reason, don't know. Don't care. And beyond that, here are the door timers for both execution and the workshop in protective custody. For the power switches. Criminally Insane do not work, so they have no work-related programs. Sadly, lightning did strike here, so I don't think I put that there. Light. Don't think I put in any lightning. I did not. So come on. There and there. This has to go technically there, but I'll put it here. And there. And then on the inside we'll throw 1, 2, 3, 4. Just to be extra careful, because lightning has struck over here. So I have to fix that. Which brings me to the final change in protective or in Criminally Insane. The inside of the yard is now a flower garden. So they will have their flower therapy as well, because they do take that. just like their spiritual guidance, and just spiritual guidance. And once again, staff canteen, staff room. And once again, another possibly temporary grass road bridge. And now let's look at the monstrosity up here that is medium security. Once again, door timer hooked up to power switches to turn off the energy. Originally this used to be brick wall, but I now made it garden wall. I do think I used reclaimed wood wall in the original series as well. This used to be electric fence, but it's now fenced wall because it turns out, and that's something that I only discovered last night for me on the 26th of January, is that when I would run power through all of these walls, as well as these walls, because these were electrified fence as well, including those, is that the power supply over here would get overloaded and shut down the entire prison. So I'm saving a little bit of power on that. The cinema has been slightly redesigned because a major change in medium security is the following. For that I need to go into planning. This is a total of 14 wide interior, meaning that there is no way in heck that anyone can throw anything, any contraband, over the wall into here. Problem, this is only 12. Not that it matters, because they will still have to go through the checkpoints, so they will have their contraband scanned. But yeah, that was a bit of an issue. The issue was that I also put that over here. And that's why the central building now looks completely different. And that's purely because originally this was 12 and now it is 14 as well. So a little error in planning screwed up the entire building of this. The cells over here, and thus the yards, are slightly different as well. And the entire layout from, I believe, like right over here, is different compared to the original design. Now I still have the restaurant and the bakery here. It is going to be a test to see if the bakery... Oh, hello. There's supposed to be a display right here and here. No, wait. I'll move these up by one. Sure. Yeah, this looks a little silly, but I couldn't get it to work the way that I wanted. But yeah. Going back to the central building, originally you would have the visitation on the outside in a nice little inverted C shape with the paroles on the inside. I couldn't get that done anymore, obviously, so we just made a long corridor here leading into visitation. For the visitors, prisoners have to go on the outside still, and the paroles will be entered from the outside. And rather than having the phone booths be a part of the visitation like I have here, and here, yeah, as well as here, they're now separate on the wall over here. And I do hope that you cannot hear the music in the background from my next door neighbor. hope so. But yeah, that is pretty much a major change. The workshop, therefore, is slightly different. I think I have, like, one less machine of each kind. But that doesn't really matter. Originally, the workshop would continue over to up to here, I believe, for a shop and possibly another shop or a mailroom or a library. I actually forgot to do that. But it doesn't matter because now we have the forestry here, which, for medium security... Now I do hope you could hear that, because there's my cat. There's my monstrosity. Right here. The monstrosity of cuteness. Okay. So the forestry over here, deployment, is staff only. And this should be staff only as well. I hate that the game does this. But oh well. And is this not an empty room? It's not. Well, no it is. Oh, I also forgot this, that, this. And these areas are staff only. There. Look at that. All of this. And for some reason, this isn't considered to be blocked off, even though it should be. So I cannot make this entire area staff only. And I don't understand why, because this door should not be the issue. Either way, that doesn't matter. That is not staff only as well. Good. And this should be basic. Thank you. Okay, so Minsec has access to forestry labor and flower garden and workshop and the farming, where medium security does not. It does have the flower field, the flower garden, but no access to the forestry and no access to the farming. And this definitely needs to be staff only. Yeah. Okay. So the helipad over here, as I said, is purely transport. Incoming goods for mail and workshop materials. No food, no construction materials. No prisoners, no civilians, and no outbound items. And down here, it is just the outbound items for garbage and exports. So the cells in minimum security are obviously the best of the best. 15 out of 15. The canteens, the common rooms, the gyms, and the classrooms are all 10 out of 10. Whereas medium security only has a 6 out of 10. I might update that to 7 out of 10, but that remains to be seen. I don't really have a good spot for a bleacher anywhere, sadly. So I might throw in something else, or I might leave it at that. And the canteens as well. Fun fact, this canteen was built last as it serves the entire top row, and it doesn't have a toilet. Whereas the others down here and over here, they do have toilets. So this canteen serves this block and half of this block. This canteen serves this block and half of this block. And this canteen serves everything else. And here we have the door timer for the workshop in here. As you can see, it is currently work and free time, so the power switches are turned on, and once the time is up, they turn off. We still have the staff room here, we still have the staff canteen here, and this is where I have those wonderfully uh, colored stone tiles. They're ugly, but in terms of the orange cells, they look good. And I liked the brick wall and brick flooring so much that I still went with that in the original cells. In terms of the cells, they have quality 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And here we have 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So their life can gradually keep getting better and better and better and better until they have hello cat. Sorry, I have to. My cat. Until they have done enough in order to go to minimum security. As for the fruit orchards, this is where things get a little interesting, because you may see a tree that you don't recognize, and you may see 5 of them. These fruit orchards and these fruit orchards are the only ones that will have the orange trees. And what I've done in... I have to make sure that this is correct. Crop distribution. No. I'm gonna set this to 100 for just the oranges. The thing is, the oranges are products for contraband, and of course I don't want that. So I'm gonna set all of the oranges, including those oranges, which are already... Or did I just do that? No. Those oranges were already 100% exports. I just forgot to do it for those. And as you can see, this fruit orchard will serve this kitchen, and that kitchen. And this fruit orchard will serve all of the kitchens in maximum security ultimately. And these gardens, or what do you call them again? Vegetable allotments and farming fields, they serve up here, and these, once I will use them, will serve down here. I think that about does it for all of the changes. And I've actually done it faster than before. Oh yeah, one final thing. Out here I also have a bunch of these wall lights, solar powered. And also something very important. Tracking menu. Even though I have no prisoners whatsoever. Except for this little place over here. Which I think I could get done if I put a thing here and here. So I shall. Router right here. This would actually be enough already, but I'm a symmetry freak, so we're gonna put him over there. Anywhere else? Tracking menu. This is a staff only area. That is all staff only area. And this is visitor area. That doesn't need to be. This doesn't need to be. Death row doesn't need to be. Criminally insane is completely covered. This is completely covered. And that is completely covered. For some reason it does look a little uglier, but sure, fine. I think I may have missed something down here. And I did not. Because that is that one. Oh, it's because of this thing. Well, there's not going to be any prisoners down here anyway, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, with that being said, now that I'm going into this thing again, there you go, and ultimately, there you go. I've gone ahead, and as far as I am aware, all of the wiring has now received the cable protectors, and all of the hot water and regular water have received insulation. So I do think that everything should be as it should be. Everything is as it should be. Now, as I said, I might change this up. But I haven't fully decided yet. Just making sure that everything is well and good. Few minor last minute changes. All of this still cage walls with barbed wire. Just like that. So that works. And next episode, I'm gonna be bringing in prisoners. And I'm thinking 64 minimum security, 10 criminally insane just to get the grind done, and 32, which should be enough for just this one block. Medium security. I'm gonna then activate all of the programs, hire all of the staff, and hopefully we're gonna get some business done, because while I have been doing grants and I have been doing overproduction time and time again, I've done all of the grants that do not require prisoners. And as you can see, I've already done cell block D for 200 capacity, as I am at 346 capacity, and cell block E is for 500 capacity. So there's still a little bit left to go. And I do think that with ultimately supermax over here and maximum security over here, that I should be able to get the 500 capacity done. Now, I know that there is a achievement for 1,000 prisoners, and just for the hell of it, I might at the very end of this playthrough, once all of the construction is done, I might just bring in enough prisoners to get 1,000 prisoners in, which will get me that achievement. And then I'm done with this game. Forever. And honestly, I cannot wait. Now let's hurry it up with that, please. And thank you. Able to storage. Thank you. Because that means that I can then do this. There is one piece of cable that isn't insulated yet. I don't know where it is, to be honest. But that's actually a good thing. Because those weren't done either. These were... what exactly? Oh yeah, metal detectors. But those weren't the ones. And that. Okay. That ought to be enough for now. In terms of changes, in terms of last minute adjustments, that is activating the stuff in the workshops. I think it is time to get programs started and its schedule. All sectors. Let's start out with MinSec. Prisoners. Workshop. They will have workshop safety induction and solar panel development here. And carpentry there. Office. Gang rehabilitation. Behavioral therapy. Breathe therapy. Kitchen safety and hygiene. Kitchen safety and hygiene there. Flower garden will be flower therapy. It's 2 hours here. Chapel. Spiritual guidance. Faith program. spiritual guidance, faith program. Now, despite the fact that ultimately my minimum security will have absolutely no gang members, for the first bit of the thing. Oh, you should be here as well. For the first bit, I will have it. Foundation. General. And then here we'll have farm work safety. And 3 strikes will be here and here. Yard minsec, breathe therapy will be here. That spot infirmary will do that. And am I gonna use tropical fever? I might as well. Meeting room, we'll have animal therapy, conflict resolution, reform prisoner consultation, and tattoo removal. It's going to be a room that ultimately is going to be useless. Common room, 3 strikes. Program. Here. Office. Gang rehabilitation. Nope. Behavioral therapy. No. Okay. Medium security. Oh boy, there's gonna be something. They will have the animal therapy and conflict resolution. They will have spiritual guidance and faith and faith. They will get workshop safety and solar panel development, but not the carpentry apprenticeship. Common room. Alcoholics will be here. Will they get 3 strikes program? It's actually a higher form of. No, they won't. Chapel, spiritual guidance, faith program, breathe therapy, tattoo removal, kitchen safety, I have 3 kitchens there, so that's perfectly fine. Tattoo removal will be here and here. Yard, we will have another breathe therapy session. And another breathe therapy session. Classroom, they will get their foundation education. They will get their 3 strikes training, and that is it. And thus we're gonna switch it around with a 3 strikes training and a foundation education over here. Flower garden, they will get the flower therapy, only 1 session. Yard, there they won't get breathe therapy. We're only gonna have 2 yards with breathe therapy. Fight club, over here. We're not doing anything with parole yet because I'm gonna just max that out as soon as possible. They have a second fight club, so they'll have that here. Infirmary is gonna be that and that. Yard and meeting room, they will have a conflict resolution and an animal therapy. Then, protective. And look at what they don't have. Common room. They will have their alcoholics. They will not get their workshop safe. They will get their workshop safety. That is fine. And their meeting room. They will have that and They will have the reformed prisoner consultation, but not the other one. Breathe therapy over here. Oh. I didn't put in any mats. There. Oops. Oopsie. My mistake. So you're gonna see that daily cash flow drop down significantly. But then again, I do have like 100 workmen. There. One more, please. And yes, I do have spirit people on. Not spectral staff, I mean. So that my staff can walk through the walls. Because that just makes things a little easier in terms of construction. Okay, that's done. And the schedule. Protective. Breathe therapy. Kitchen. Will they have their kitchen safety? Sure. One. Chapel. They will have a spiritual guidance in the end of the day. They will have their behavior therapy up here. Actually there. And Pearl will leave alone. Now, why am I not giving them gang rehabilitation? Because there shouldn't be any gang members in protective custody. If I have a gang member that is also a snitch or an ex-law enforcement, it sucks for them, I guess. Or I could give them permanent lockup in protective custody just to keep him in there. Next, we have insane, psychiatrist, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Parole, we won't have that yet. Common room, alcoholics, yard breathe therapy over here. I don't have any mats in there either. What? I could have sworn it. Oh, they're in the flower garden. Silly me, silly me. Good thing that I did this now. So you can see where I screw up. Two more, come on. How can that be damaged? There's literally no one here to damage it. How could that door be damaged? What? That makes no sense. Oh. Going back to this. Insane. Breathe therapy. Flower garden. They will have their flower therapy nice early in the day. Tropical vaccine over here in the evening. Meeting room. They will have their animal therapy. As I do think that they have that. You will have it here, there, here, and there. Office will be used here in the middle of the evening because they won't be gang members. And we will have here, no. No teachers exist for this. That one's taken. That one's taken. Well, maybe if I switch it around, it's here and here. That now works. Hello. Do what I need. Yeah. Okay. That is for all of the, well, visitor only. What? Why does this exist? I want my visitors to do reform programs as well. What? Okay. That just leaves us with the parole hearings. And I am going to do that manually because I'm going to do as many paroles as possible. Same with death row appeal. Except death row appeal should be death row only. Death row appeal. Death row appeal. Excuse me. Now, to find more of that parole hearing there. I'm gonna do as much parole as possible. As you can see, I have a lot of parole rooms, so I have a lot of options for parole. Still 6 to 10 a.m. Now we're into the second block. So we're gonna have a lot of parole hearings. Well, I could do this slightly different. All sectors. Parole. There you go. Yes, even criminally insane will have parole. This is gonna be crazy. But I want to process all of these prisoners really fast. And minimum security technically should be just fine. Almost done. Last two, and there we go. Look at all of that parole. Look at that massive list of parole. Fun. Okay, so I already have enough psychologists. I also remember that I still kind of need to set up the patrols in this sector. Shut up, phone. So I'll do that off screen. But the patrols here exist already. I didn't do that here yet. Nor the deployment. Actually, I did do at least the orderly patrols in here, but not in there. Or is that deployment? That is deployment. Okay. So I'm gonna be hiring all of the staff. Please tell me that this is death row. Okay. And tell me that this is staff only. I'm gonna need to hire a lot of staff. I'm gonna run a lot of staff programs. I think that I will keep the 100 workmen because it is just going to be a lot easier to get things done, a lot faster. Especially since the next thing that I will be building is Supermax. And once Supermax is built, that's when we're going to be looking at the transfers. That's when we're going to look over at this. Because that's when the real fun part starts. So with that, I am Paul with Many Voices. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope you're glad that I'm back with Prison Architects and that we're actually going to see this project finished at some point in the future. And trust me, I am dreading having to design this. Because I'm not going to give them a lot. No cinema, no... well, no cinema, no library. A bunch of other things that I'm not going to give them. So, it's going to be a challenge to build this, to design this, to build this, and to have it done. But, once this is done, the capacity should be well over 500, so... I hope you'll be there for me when I get there. Anyway, I am Paul with Many Voices. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.